If you think a smart home is just yelling, "Alexa, turn on my lights," I've got news for you. This is how you make your home actually smart. I'm Blake, and if you're new here, welcome to Built by Becker. We talk about real design for real homes. I've been wiring and building homes for over 15 years, and I'm watching the smart home industry finally grow up. We're past the gimmick phase. We're past the "hey look, my fridge has a screen" phase. We're entering into the era where your home actually helps you live better. Now I know that's contradictory to where I've said in my other videos where watch out for too much smart home technology, but today I'm breaking down the 5 big shifts happening in smart homes for 2026. Real technology that will save you money, improve your health, and actually make life easier. And at the end, I'll show you exactly how to wire your home today, so you're ready for whatever comes next. Before we get into it, if you're planning a renovation or building new, I put together a design starter kit that will make your renovation way easier. Just click the link in the description and check it out. Enough talk about me, let's get into it. Number 1, smart home evolution from gadgets to integrated systems. So here's the problem with smart homes up until now. They've been a collection of gadgets that don't really talk to each other. You got your Alexa over here, your Google Home over there, your Philips Hue lights, and your Nest thermostat, your Ring doorbell, and your Ecobee sensors. And they all work. Kinda. Sometimes you're managing 6 different apps, 3 different voice assistants, and none of them actually know what the others are doing. It's actually exhausting. And honestly, most people give up and go back to their regular old light switches. But in 2026, it's different. And the key word here is integrated. What we're seeing now is systems that actually communicate. Not because they're all from the same brand, because let's be honest, that will never happen, but because of something called Matter. Matter is a unified smart home standard that was released in 2022, and it's finally starting to actually work. It lets devices from different manufacturers talk to each other without you needing a PhD in computer science. Your Philips lights, they can talk to your Google thermostat, which can talk to your Apple Watch, and it can talk to your Amazon speaker. And the best part, you don't have to care about any of that. You just set it up one time, and hey, it works. The smart homes I'm wiring for clients this year aren't excited about adding more devices. They're 100% about creating a cohesive ecosystem that makes the entire house and their life easier. Number 2, health boosting lighting. Circadian rhythms, these are important. Now, the next one is gonna sound a little woo-hoo-hoo-hoo at first, but stick with me. The science is actually solid. Circadian lighting is lighting that actually follows your body's natural 24-hour rhythm, and it can legitimately improve your sleep, your mood, and your energy levels. Your body has an internal clock that's called your circadian rhythm. That tells you when you wake up, when you go to sleep, and the biggest things that affect your clock, light. Specifically, the color, temperature, and brightness of light. In the morning, you want bright blue-white light. This is what the sun looks like at noon. It signals to your brain, hey, it's daytime, be awake, alert, let's go. This kind of light suppresses melatonin, the sleep hormone, and helps you feel energized. But in the evening, you want the opposite. Warm amber light, think sunset. This tells your brain, hey, it's time to start winding down. Also lets the melatonin start to build up naturally, so you can actually fall asleep. Now the problem is, for the last 100 years, when we've been using the same light bulbs all day long, bright white at 7 a.m. and bright white at 11 p.m. So this idea of smart circadian lighting systems fix this by automatically adjusting the color temperature of your lights throughout the day. Now, brands like Philips Hue, even some Legrand systems have these circadian modes built in. You wake up at 6:30 and you go to bed at 11 p.m. and the system calibrates everything for you. If you're already putting in smart lights, it's basically just software. You're using the same bulbs and the cost is the bulbs themselves, and these run around $15 to $30 per bulb. Now, if you're building new or doing a quite large renovation, I'd strongly recommend planning for this, especially in bedrooms, home offices, and main living areas. It's one of those things that people don't think about until they experience it, and then they wonder how they ever lived without it. Number 3, AI-driven water energy management to save money. All right. Let's talk about money. This is where smart homes stop being a luxury and start being an investment that actually pays you back. Energy management systems powered by AI can save you 10 to 40% on your electric bills. That's not a typo. And we're not talking about this just turning the lights off when you leave the room. That's kindergarten stuff. I'm talking about systems that learn your energy use patterns, predict your electricity rates at the highest, and automatically shift your consumption to save you money. See, most utility companies use time of use pricing. Electricity costs more during peak hours, usually 4 p.m. to 9 p.m. when everyone's home cooking dinner, cranking down the AC, watching TV, and it costs less during off-peak hours, late night, early morning. An AI energy management system, something like the Schneider Electric's Wiser Home or Savant's Smart Power System, or even EcoFlow's Delta Pro, tracks these rates in real time and makes decisions for you. Even smart water management systems like Flow by Moen, they can detect leaks before they become disasters. They monitor the pressure and the flow 24/7. And if something's weird, like water running when nobody's home or a toilet that's been running for 3 hours, you get an alert on your phone and possibly shuts down all the water if there's a leak. Now, this is an investment that can save you money. Touchless Biometric Security. How you get into your house in 2026? Well, because keys, we're pretty much done with those, right? Touchless biometric security is becoming the new standard. Traditional locks can be picked, keys can be copied or lost, even keypads and fingerprint scanners can be compromised. You leave your fingerprints everywhere, and there's ways to copy them. But palm vein recognition, that's scanning the unique pattern veins inside your palm using near infrared light. You can't fake that. I don't even think you can copy that. Even if someone made a silicone mold of your hand, it wouldn't work because there's no blood flow. Companies like Philips Home Access and Utex Ultralog are making smart locks with this kind of technology built in. You hover your hand over the sensor and you don't even touch it. Doors unlock, no apps, no keys, no code. Welcome to the future, baby. For families, this is huge. You can give your kids access without giving them a physical key to lose. You can grant temporary access to a dog walker or maybe a house cleaner. Just add the biometrics to the system for a specific time window and then remove it when you're done. Security that actually makes life easier instead of more complicated. That's the goal. Number 5. How to wire your home today for the future. This is the one that everyone asks me about. Blake, I'm building a new, renovating, or buying. How do I make sure it's ready for all this smart home stuff in the future? That's a great question. Because the worst thing you can do is finish your drywall and then realize you need to run cables through all the walls. So the plan I recommend is first, install neutral wires at every switch location. This is critical. Most smart switches and dimmers need neutral wire to function. Older homes don't have them at every switch box. If you're roughing in electrical, make sure your electrician runs neutral to every switch. It's not that much more work, and it'll save you a world of hurt later on. I've seen people buy a $200 smart lighting system and then find out they can't install it without rewiring their house. Don't be that person. Number 2, use conduit wherever possible. Conduit is basically a pipe that cables can run through, and it's a game changer for future proofing. When you run cables in conduit, you can pull new cables later without opening the walls. Technology changes. In 10 years, we might need Cat 8 or fiber or something, or cable we haven't even invented yet. With conduit, you can just pull the old cable out and pull the new one in. I recommend at least running conduit from your main electrical panel to your attic or basement, from there to a key other locations, entertainment center, home office, those type of locations. Plan your central hub. All your smart home stuff needs to live somewhere. Your network equipment, your security equipment, your smart home controller, all that needs power and network connections. Designating a closet or a space for this, wiring it, and making sure there's plenty of outlets and Ethernet runs. Make sure it's all ventilated. Make sure you have room to expand, and it doesn't have to be fancy. Just a hall closet and a couple shelves will probably work fine, but plan for it. Don't just stack everything in a corner of your garage. Now, think about power for the future. Smart homes need power, a lot of power. Not just 120 volt outlets. You need low voltage power for things like doorbell cameras, smart locks, and control panels. Run 12 volt or 24 volt power to your front door for your video doorbells, your smart locks, and run it to potential camera locations. Run it to anywhere you might want a control panel or a tablet mount. These are especially important for touchless entry systems, biometric locks, and you need constant power to function. Wi-Fi planning is not optional. Well, this is obvious. You still need good Wi-Fi for phones, tablets, and portable devices, so plan multiple wireless access points. A single router in your basement doesn't cut it anymore. You want access points centrally located on each floor, hardwired back to your network via Ethernet for a good, strong signal. For a 2,500 square foot home, you're probably talking 2 to 3 access points. For a 4,000 square foot home, 4 to 5. It's more than you think, but you want full coverage, not dead zones. And get quality equipment. This is not the place to be cheap. A good mesh system will cost you, but a full setup will be actually worth it. So that's the state of smart homes in 2026. The key is planning. Don't wait until your walls are closed. Don't add smart home stuff as an afterthought. Build it into the foundation of your renovation or your new construction. If you found this to be helpful, hit that like and subscribe button. And if you haven't already, let me know in the comments what smart home futures and features are you getting this year? Because honestly, AI and technology is here to stay. How quickly we adapt can make our homes a beautiful place to live. And I'll see you guys on the next one.